Everybody needs a budget. It doesn't matter how much you make. And this simple system is going to help you create a budget that is going to work for you in just 4 simple steps. Keep on watching. Hi, I'm Cam, and this is Embrace and Simplify You. And on this channel, we focus on balancing our life, achieving our goals, and taking charge of our finances. I do this by providing us with simple, actionable, and useful productivity and finance resources. Now, this video is really for individuals that are having a hard time managing their money or are just beginners when it comes to budgeting. I am providing you with a system that will help you know how much comes into your account and how much leaves your account. It's also going to help you with setting your goals for your money. You can follow along. The workbook is in the description box and the printable sheets are there as well. You just need the printable sheets, you need a pen or pencil, and you need a calculator. We are just doing very basic math. The first step is your overview step, and that sets the foundation. Once you have the first step laid out, you are just going to copy the information you have on the first page to subsequent pages. The first page is the most time consuming because in this step, you are going to write out every source of income and every expense. You're going to also write your pay dates, and we are going to create categories. So here is step 1. So on this page, you have section for your fixed income, you have a section for your fixed expenses, you have a section for your pay dates, your categories, and then you have a section for your variable and other expenses. When it comes to your fixed income, that is an amount of money that comes into your account on a regular basis. So things like your paycheck, child support, social security benefit, those are fixed because they come at a particular frequency. So either weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and they have a fairly set amount. So you know what to expect. We only want to focus on money that you're guaranteed to get. Anything outside of what you expect to get, we will track when we get to step 3 on the income and expense tracker. Now, when it comes to your fixed expenses, these are expenses that have a due date and a set amount. Your mortgage, your car payment, your electricity, for the most part, some utilities are fairly fixed. Then we come down to your variable expenses and other expenses. In this section, I want you to think of expenses such as your groceries, gas, ordering out, your fun money like personal spending, other expenses such as your savings, investment, and then there are expenses that are called sinking funds that I absolutely encourage you to have. So what is a sinking fund? A sinking fund is a way for you to save for an expense that is going to come up at some point during the year. I typically have sinking funds for my emergency fund, things like gifts or holidays, for travel. You can determine what types of sinking funds would work for you. You would need to add your pay dates, and then we're going to talk about categories. But before we do that, take a moment and figure out what you want your money to do for you. What goal are you looking to accomplish? I know for me this year, I'm looking to save a specific amount of money. Let's just say $5,000. It is measurable because I want to save it by the 31st of December, 2025. And I can determine how much I need to save every pay to get to $5,000. Whatever your goal is for your money, it needs to be a goal that aligns with what you are looking to accomplish. You are going to download your bank statements. I suggest that you download the last 3 months of your bank statements. Once you download it, that's what you're going to use to identify your fixed income, your fixed expenses, and your variable expenses. Once you've done that, add your income to your sheet, add your expenses to your sheet. Now let's talk about categories. Categories just helps you group similar items together, and it makes for easy tracking. It even helps you with how you manage your money. In my budget, I have a certain amount that I assign for variable expenses. In this example, I would say that variable expenses is about $500. So out of that $500, I would need to get groceries, get my gas, have some fun money for dining out. Those are variable expenses. I prefer having categories so that way I can assign a lump sum of money to a particular category and then within that category take from that money. So if I'm saying that I plan to spend $500 in variable expenses, I then spent $650. Well, where did the extra $150 come from? Because it's out of your account, so it had to come from somewhere. That's why I like categories. So to summarize, in step 1, you're going to set a goal for your money. You will download your bank statements so that way you can identify your income and your expenses, and then you will fill out this first sheet. And in step 2, we have multiple sheets that you will need to complete. One is a calendar. The second one is a bill tracker, which has been a game changer for me. Third one is where you will actually set up your budget. For the calendar, I will put my pay dates on here. I will also add the bills that are coming out for that month. When you're setting up your calendar, the other thing to consider is if there are certain events that are coming up, like a birthday or you're going to a doctor's appointment, some of these events require you to spend money. I suggest adding it to your calendar so you're not surprised. Your bill tracker is exactly what it means. It's how you track your bills. I will add the due date for all my bills, my fixed expenses, and the amount. And then on the header, I will add my pay dates on here. So once the bill is paid, I just check it off. The reason this is helpful is because when you pay your bill, it doesn't automatically come out of your bank account. So checking it off indicates that you have actually paid the bill. Add that to your transaction log, which is your tracker. Even if it's a bill that comes out automatically, add it to the bill tracker and pay attention to when your automatic bills are coming out. You do not want to be surprised. So the third page is your budget setup. This is pretty cool because this is how you plan on how your money should be spent. The header is just your pay dates. You're going to write your income. This is fixed income, the amount of money you're expecting to come into your account. And then you're going to list all your expenses, not just fixed expenses, your fixed expenses, variable expenses, your sinking funds. I'm going to do a separate video just setting up this budget. So you're going to add your income, you're going to add all your expenses. For your fixed expenses, that amount is fixed. But for your variable expenses, this is when you then start to determine how much should I budget for groceries, for gas, for ordering out, for my own personal spending. How much should I budget for my sinking funds? Am I able to send anything to savings? The answer should always be yes, even if it's $5, even if it's 50 cents. You need to be intentional about saving every time you get paid. Everybody should not have access to your money and leave you with nothing. You are planning out how you want your money to be spent. Having a plan gives your money structure. It gives it purpose. Believe it or not. And that will determine whether your money does what you want it to do. To recap, in step 2, you are going to set up your monthly calendar, which will include your income and your fixed expenses. You're going to set up your bill tracker. You will set up your budget. Now let's move on to step 3. This is where you're tracking your expenses. It's called your transactions log. You're going to use your bank account, but you will also use your bill tracker. So once you pay a bill or once you know a bill is coming out, you're going to add it to your transactions log. This is how you track it. Track your transactions often. Log into your bank account and make sure that what you're seeing in your bank reflects what should be happening. So that is step 3. Step 4 is when you close out your account. You are going to use your transactions to figure out closing out your account. So on this page, you will add your pay date, add your starting balance, calculate your total income. Using your transactions, identify all the income that came into your account. So your fixed income and variable, and you're going to write that here. And then if you had any variable income, like refund is a variable income, interest is a variable income, monetary gifts, that's a variable income, add it here because you want to account for everything that came into your account. And that information should be on your transactions log. Then your sinking funds. I'm trying to force everybody to have sinking funds. It's a game changer. So you would list them, and based on your transactions, you're going to see how much did you budget for that sinking fund, how much did you spend. Sometimes you're not spending any money out of it. And then what's remaining? When it comes to sinking funds, you're rolling over the remaining amount to the next pay period. For your next pay, you're going to use this remaining amount is going to be your starting amount for your sinking fund. Then your expenses, both your fixed expenses and your variable expenses, I would have you write it out here. When it comes to variable expenses, something like groceries, just write groceries, look at your transactions, identify everything that was groceries and just add it up. So that way you only have one line item on here and you're not writing out every single time you bought groceries. Expenses, all other, is anything else that doesn't fall under those categories. So for example, if it was unbudgeted, your savings or investments, anything that was outside of sinking funds, outside of fixed expenses, and outside of variable expenses, you're going to put in this column. So on the top where it says total income, you're adding all your income together, and where it has total spent, anything that was spent. So from your sinking funds, if there was anything spent, you're going to take that amount. Your fixed and variable expenses, you're going to take the total amount of that, and all other expenses, you're going to take the total and you're going to add all three together to get total spent. So to have your account balance, so this amount is going to be the amount of money that should be left in your account before your next paycheck. If the pay date was March the 7th and your next paycheck is March the 21st, then on March the 20th, the day before, that amount in your account should reflect your account balance. The only time that will be a difference is if you had a transaction occur and it hasn't cleared your account yet. Once you close this out, you then will get how much should be left in your account. You can then compare what you budgeted to what actually happened. This is a nice way to see where you went over budget. So to summarize, the first step is your overview step. You're going to set a goal for your money. You're going to download your bank statements, at least 3 months worth. Identify your income and your expenses. And then on this overview sheet, you're going to add your pay dates, and then you are going to assign categories. Step 1 is the step that's going to take the longest to set up. But once it's done, you use that for the remaining steps. In step 2, there are only 3 sheets that you will need to complete. Your calendar, which is going to have your income and expenses. You're going to have your bill tracker, so that way you do not forget any bills. And then you're going to set up your budget. Then step 3, you are just going to track your transactions. And then the last step is your closeout. You're going to use the transaction tracker to do your closeout. A closeout is necessary, is that it gives you a nice overview of where your money went. So stay tuned for the 2 upcoming videos where I will talk about setting up your budget and doing a closeout. So I hope you found this helpful. Everybody needs a budget. I'm going to say that over and over again. It doesn't matter how much you make. A budget is going to help you have a plan for your money. And then what do I want my money to do for me over time? We make too much money. I don't care if you're only making $100 a month, but if you are, then that's a problem. But anyway, the fact that you actually spend your time, your energy, your effort, your talent at a job, your money should work for you. Everybody should not have access to your money. I'm talking credit cards, banks, medical debt. Like, having a plan for your money gives you a little bit more control of what your money is doing. And that is priceless. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like, please subscribe, join the community. I really am intentional about helping us manage our money well and just helping us achieve our goals, helping us balance this crazy life that we're living. On that note, if no one has told you this today, you're valuable, you have purpose, you're more than enough, and on top of that, you're fabulous. Until my next video, I would like for you to watch this one on the screen. I think you would find it helpful. I'll see you in my next. Bye, everyone.